Hey guys, what is going on? We are in the zone, episode 175 today. We're going to kick things off on the ice. Wow. Last night was historic. I was in the fucking building. My fucking throat is killing me. Auston Matthews got fucking 60 goals last night. The first player since 2011 to do that. And that guy was Steven Stamkos, by the way. The guy got 100 points last night, too. But last night was all about Auston Matthews getting fucking 60 goals, lighting the lamp twice against Detroit. I'll start with you, Pagniello. What were your thoughts when you saw this? And when you see his stats, 60 and 73. What the hell? Like, who do you compare this guy to?
Fucking Brett Hull, probably, if you're looking at the stats alone. But yeah, my reaction, I was just laughing, both arms in the air. I'm like, fuck yeah. You love to see it because he's missed how many in a row now up until this game or last game. He missed like 6, 7 in a row. And I'm like, watch him not fucking hit 60 because of this last little stretch. And seeing him do it, it's against the Red Wings. But you know what? They've been giving us problems all year. So fuck it. I'm happy it came against Detroit. Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Yeah, he's a special player. 60 goals in this era and 73 games. So, and he didn't even play the full year. So just think of that. It's like on pace for 70 in an 82 game year. So that's just crazy for this era and just the kind of player he is. So he hasn't even hit his physical prime yet. So put that in perspective. The best is still yet to come.
Yeah, that's the scariest fucking part about it is I don't think he's hit his peak yet. The guy is a freak. I knew yesterday as soon as he curled around the player at the blue line and he had all that space, I'm like, yeah, he's gonna do a classic snapshot. It's gonna go fucking top corner, and that's exactly what happened. The thing I love with Matthews, guys, is when he gets these milestones, he doesn't really. It looks like he doesn't give a shit. He looks up at the jumbotron for like a second, and he's like, yeah, all right, yeah, I got it, okay. She's like, shut up now. But yesterday, dude, after he got the 60 goals, like it did not matter if we were down 5-2. The crash, as soon as he touched the puck, everyone was just chanting, going nuts, yelling MVP. The atmosphere was incredible. The dude is a freak athlete. I think to answer, he basically answered our question the last couple of weeks of who the Hart winner is. I think it's Auston Matthews now. I think it's a guarantee. You know, McDavid 122 points. We all know how great he is, but 60 goals is hard to do, man. Like this is again, like if Draisaitl can get 5 in the next, I think they have 2 games left. I highly doubt it, but yeah, like if he were like miraculously to do that, I don't think there's ever been two 60 goal scorers since like 1995 or something, maybe even before that. So it's going to be a long time. So this is going to make me transition into my next point here. Before we went live, we were talking about the amount of points that players have this year. Do you think, I'll start with you, Aulino, do you think that this is like sustainable? Because good God, there's like 10 guys that have over 100 points. I think, Pagniello, you mentioned like more than 10 guys have 40 goals. It's just, I mean, is it sustainable? Like for real? Like, are the goalies going to be this bad moving forward?
Oh, no, I hope not. I'm not complaining about the amount of goals scored. I think at a point it was getting boring watching the league because that year that Jamie Benn was leading the league, I think he had just over 80 points, like 83 or something like that. That was boring as shit. Like they need to get some excitement. Hockey already has a tough enough time to sell in the United States. They already got the Canadian market. So having all these goals scored and I guess looking at how many fans get excited about when you see a goal scorer like Matthews, like Tarasenko, Kreider even. Like it just brings more excitement to the game because you want to be a part of these milestones. So I think it's best for the league that it continues being like this, and maybe we'll have an era similar where it just forces the league to change some of their defensive rules and make it more aggressive because I think that's what they took out of the game in the first lockout under Bettman. And then in 04, they changed more. So if you give some guys more ability to be aggressive, you don't penalize them all the time, then I think maybe guys will lock it down defensively and we'll maybe see a little bit of a decline there.
Do you think for the defensemen, this is sustainable? Because there are a lot of D this year that have 60-plus points, and it looked like it was supposed to happen.
Well, I think, again, that goes to Aulino's point of I think there's a lot more penalties being called, and the guys that are at the top of the leaderboard, like the Roman Yossi, Cale Makar, who else is up there? I know Devin Taves is up there. I don't even think the funny thing is I don't even think Quinn Hughes is up there. But yeah, like those type of D and Victor Hedman, obviously, like they play the power play the whole time, and they're clearly capitalizing. I'm pretty sure the amount of penalties is up, like for sure. That's probably a guarantee. But I'll tell you right now, again, and this is, I think, for sure a thing. I don't see Yossi hitting 90 points ever again. I think like what was it? He's the first D since Ray Bork to do that. That's just oh my god, man! Like that's giving me chills thinking about that. Like that's a lot of points. We all know how great Carlson was, and he couldn't even do that. Lidstrom couldn't even do that. So I just think it's maybe the amount of penalties being called. They're taking advantage of it. The conversion rate with power plays is sky high too. Just ask the Leafs. They're fucking scoring every game, 2 power play goals a game. Like even, for example, another guy that I know he's been injured for quite a bit, but if you guys go look at Ekblad's stats, I think he had like 57 and 63 or something. And he's a player that usually gets like 45 points. So I don't think it's sustainable for D. I think the only D, Pagniello, that it's sustainable for is the guys that we predicted at the beginning of the year, like Makar, Quinn Hughes, I think down the line, and maybe a guy like an Adam Fox. But other than that, I don't see Hedman getting 80 again. I don't see Yossi getting 90 again. I just think they're 2 complete defensemen, and to me, it still baffles me how many points those guys accumulated this year.
Just want to throw it out there real quick. 17 defensemen have 50-plus points, and there are a whole bunch at 49, 48. So it seems like every team's got like 150-point D this year, multiple.
I mean, yeah, and the thing that I love about our defensive rankings at the beginning of the year was fucking Aulino over there calling Morgan Riley third. The guy's, I think, 4th in scoring. So you did it again, buddy. But here's another thing I want to talk about. You talk about Yossi and the D. I want to talk about the top 10 scorers that are all there. I know I see Goudreau there. I see Huberdeau. Fucking Kirill Kaprizov, 2nd year in the league, is like 7th in scoring. I'll start with you, Aulino. Out of all those players that are in the top 10, I mean, okay, other than McDavid and Draisaitl, who is the most surprising in your eyes?
For forwards or like all together?
I guess for forwards, because I'm not counting Yossi there.
Yeah, Kaprizov to me, not because he's not a bad player or that he's not a good player, but like the team he's on isn't really for his style. Like it's not like McDavid and Draisaitl, they're a complete offensive team. Minnesota is kind of like a mix a little bit, so he has to rely a little bit on his skill a lot of the times and take chances and create plays for his teammates. So I think his is surprising and just shows how great of a player he could be. So I think Minnesota has something with him. It's just you got to keep him happy because once those buyouts start kicking in, it's going to be tough to attract players to their team. So if they don't get out of the round this year, even the second round, I think it's going to be tough for the next couple of years.
For me, I'll go Matt Tkachuk. I mean, great player, but like I just never saw this in his future. Honestly, when he had 77 a couple years ago, I'm like, that should be what he floats around for the next little while, or just going forward. He could be like that 30-goal, 70-point guy, and he just fucking explodes with like 40-plus goals and 100 points. You see what the Flames are doing. So there's a few guys in that top 10 I'm surprised with, but Matt Tkachuk, I never thought he would reach that milestone.
Yeah, I mean, for me, they're the best line in hockey, no doubt. But yeah, Matt Tkachuk at 102 is something that we talk about Yossi. Like he can't hit 90. I don't think Tkachuk's hitting 100 again. I think this year is honestly, guys, an anomaly. like even JT Miller at 97. That like if you told me at the beginning of the year that JT Miller would have more points than Patrick Kane, Rantanen, McKinnon, I would laugh in your face. So like I think this year in general, it's a bit of an anomaly. I'm not complaining though, like you said, Aulino. Like the scoring is up at a rate that I've never seen in my lifetime. So like even Sidney Crosby, he's not even here on the list. He's not even in the top like 40 in scoring. But even the year that he's had, we've talked even about Patrick Kane. Like you said, Pagniello before we went live, tied his career best in assists this year, and no one really talks about it because he's on Chicago and they suck. So, I mean, and here's another stat that I really want to throw out. I'm not a big Matt Duchene guy, but the dude's got fucking 42, 43 goals this year. Pagniello, can you explain that?
I think it's just Nashville. They're a really good team, and they've been flying under the radar because technically, when you look at the last few years, they've been on the decline, but they're still a really good team. Like Saros is coming into his own, and I'll throw Forsberg in there too, who usually he's another one of those guys who, like, if he plays a full year, it's going to come together. And him playing with Duchene and Granlund and all those good players over there, it just worked this year with Duchene. I mean, he's always going to produce to a certain extent, but 40 goals and 80 points is very out of character for him. So he might be another guy where I wouldn't expect it next year, but just seeing it happen for a guy like him who seemed like he was getting traded every 3 fucking months, it's good to see.
Oh yeah, especially Pittsburgh. Like I don't know if you saw their stats. Like Crosby 83, 60 or 84 and 68. Gensel 40 goals. Letang 67 points. Rust has 58 and 59, and then Malkin 40 and 40. So like no one even really talks about Pittsburgh, and they're still that good.
Yeah, well, with that being said, we're going to get into the playoff matchups. If they were today, the only teams that are iffy is Dallas, Vegas, Nashville. They're all fighting for that last spot. But let's just say, as of right now, we won't count Vegas because Robin Lehner's out. They're going with their backup or their third string goalie tonight. It's not looking good. They lost 2 nights ago to Dallas. Big loss. So let's just assume that they're not making the playoffs. We're going to go based on the matchups today. So I'm going to start this one off. We're going to actually start in the West. And I want to kick it off with Edmonton and LA. A 2 and 3 seed. I mean, this is an interesting series because at the beginning of the year, Pagniello could probably talk with me on this one. We did not see the Kings making the playoffs. There is no chance in hell. Shout out to Vince fucking McMahon. No chance I saw LA making the playoffs here. Guys like fucking Sean Dursey taking a step forward, just taking care of business when Doughty goes down with an injury. Kopitar, oh my God, same old stuff, just Mr. Old Reliable. I'll start with you, Aulino. I know Edmonton, they've never really panned out the first round the last couple of years. They got swept last year to Winnipeg. Is this the year where we see Connor McDavid get extra motivated? And do we see a potential beatdown of LA, or do you see LA kind of taking charge and maybe making it a series?
Oh man, for their career's sake, I hope so. But I'm not too confident with that team. Like I think it's going to be a 6-game series, and Jonathan Quick's going to save the day a couple times, where he's going to look like 2012 Jonathan Quick. He's going to steal a game, and I think they're going to make things interesting. I think Kopitar is going to lead them to a tough round, and it's going to test McDavid and Draisaitl and management to see if they really made the right decision with all these trades.
I hope LA does to Edmonton what Anaheim did to Edmonton a few years back in the second round. You remember that?
Sadly.
This might be the year. If they were to lose Edmonton, it could be the year where we're like, okay, we're blowing the fucking team up. Because I love LA. Like they had a really good year given what they were expected. And they still got their guys, like you were just saying. Kempe's really come into his own as a top 6 forward. Doughty's still fucking rolling. Our fucking boys, Trevor Moore and Sean Dursey and Carl Grundstrom, grinded their way to the playoffs, but this is the Oilers series to lose. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, it is. And, Drew Doughty having 31 points and 39, like he only played 39 games this year. So, and I think that's the most impressive stat with LA is their top defenseman only played 39 games and they still managed to make it like in that division over teams like, Nashville, Dallas, Vancouver. Like I thought LA would definitely be in the spot where maybe Vancouver is, maybe even where Arizona is. I didn't see LA being this good. And, shout out to Trevor Moore. He has fucking 47 points, which is that's incredible for him. He's always been a great grindy player. At Tennessee too, man. Like he's only played 26 games this year. He's a good power forward when healthy. He brings that speed. But yeah, Adrian Kempe might be the X factor here. 34 goals in the season. He's a great player. And the thing that I love, Aulino, with this team, you said Jonathan Quick might steal one. The reason being, they've rested him pretty respectfully this year. They split the starts. Cal Peterson played 36. Jonathan Quick played 45. So I think that could be a recipe for success right there. If you rest Jonathan Quick down the stretch, he could definitely outplay Mike Smith, no doubt about it. Like the fact that both these goalies are facing each other, there's going to be some insane stat where it's going to be like this is the first time they're facing each other in a series since the conference final in 2012. So that's gonna be a fun rewind blast of the past. But you know what, man, I gotta go with Edmonton here. Like if they lose this series, it's a disaster for them. So they're a Canadian team. I think low key, I'm rooting for McDavid. I want to see him have some success. I got them winning though in a close one in 6 games. I just LA's gonna give them headaches. But moving on, we got the next series. This one is gonna be definitely a fun one if it does happen. We got the Calgary Flames taking on the Nashville Predators right now. If the playoffs were today, Pagniello, I'll start with you. This one. It seems like it could be a one-sided series, but again, the playoffs is a new beast. Nashville is that physical veteran. They've been there before type team. What do you think? What do you expect on Nashville? Do you see them with their D and with Roman Josi? You see them potentially shutting them down, or you think the offense in Calgary is too much?
I think this is a great 7-game series. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. Because I feel like all those dipshits on Sportsnet are going to be like Calgary in 4 just because they finished first. I want to play up Nashville for a little bit because unlike Calgary, Nashville is there every single year. And they've had a lot of the same guys for a lot of years. And guys like Tanner Jeannot stepping in, arguably, some Calder consideration. Matt Duchene and Forsberg having the years that they have. Johansen, Granlund, great 1-2 down the middle. Josi had that year. Fabro's his number one partner now. Like, they got a lot going for them over there. They're obviously the underdogs, and I don't think many people expect them to really upset Calgary, but they got a lot of players on this team. They play together. I think they can make it interesting, but I'll go Calgary in 7. I think this is a good one.
Yeah, I'll go Calgary in 7. I think they're going to split the home games, and I think Calgary is going to be the big winner there in Game 7 because of their skill. So I'll go Calgary in that one.
Who do you think is going to be the X factor for both teams?
Ooh, I'll say UC Saros for Nashville, just because he's still fairly a young goalie, and there's still a lot to give with him. He's got great potential, and he's been amazing already. But in terms of that, star spotlight of being the guy, I don't know if he's really had it yet. So for Nashville, I think I'd go with him. What are you thinking for Calgary?
Sean Monahan.
Holy shit, where's he been?
I think if there's ever a time to come back and make a big statement, it's going to be the playoffs. So I think Monahan, whatever's bothered him this year, that's going to be a nice time to come alive.
I can't believe I'm saying this. X factors for Nashville, I'm going Ryan Johansen.
Ooh.
I think this is a prove himself spot here. I mean, time after time, a lot of people they tend to not like him and tend to not go for him. So I feel like Ryan Johansen, he's had a hell of a career. The expectations, you remember Pagniello when he was in Columbus getting 70 points early on. The expectations for him were really, really high. He didn't really pan out to that stature, but he's turned into a really, really reliable top 6 center in this league. And He's also a volatile, like he's a versatile forward. He can play wing if he has to, if they want to put Granlund at center. And for me, the X factor, Aulino, you praise this trade, and he still gives me nightmares to this day from last year. Tyler Toffoli for the Flames is an X factor. He's a Stanley Cup champion. He's been there before. That's what, to me, I still think that's one of the best trades in the whole year. And I think Calgary and Toffoli's going to prove why that's one of the best trades. I think he's going to pull on his Justin Williams pants, and I think he's going to get a couple game winners in the series. So I got Flames in 6. I think they're going to end it in Nashville. I think it's going to be a fun one. But the next series we got here, this to me is the coin flip of the first round. I think this is the closest series. The Minnesota Wild taking on the St. Louis Blues. Both teams, guys, down the stretch have been astronomically unbelievable. I think St. Louis is coming off like a 9-game winning streak, and Minnesota has lost only, I think, twice in the last 14 in regulation. So they're both red hot. Kaprizov is a flat-out problem. Like you said, Aulino, he's changed the dynamic in Minnesota. I think Kevin Fiala, Pagniello, you fucking have him in fantasy, you lucky dude. The guy's been fucking on a tear the last month. Zuccarello, career year. Guys like fucking, even, what's his name there? Jordan Greenway, Ryan Hartman. Those guys have been absolutely incredible. You look at their top 6, yeah, it looks kind of laughable, but the team chemistry is like no other. Who the hell do you guys have winning this series? Tarasenko has even turned it up another gear. I don't fucking know. I want to see what you guys say.
Fuck. Yeah. This might be the coin flip. I will go with the Blues. It really could change as each day passes, just because it's one of those series where it could go game for game. But Blues kind of surprised me this year. I like all their players, but I don't know about you guys. I didn't think Buchnevich and Robert Thomas would take over as quick as they did. And if they were, I didn't think Tarasenko would be a factor in that as well. So the fact that the three of them, that's the line, and they've been killing it all year, is unbelievable. Like Ryan O'Reilly's having, we brought it up before, he's having his fucking 13th 55-point season. That's another guy for the playoffs. So he's going to be a matchup problem if he's down the lineup. Both teams are just really deep. I'll give it to the Blues just because they've had a lot of deep playoff runs in the last 5-6 years. But shit, if the Wild take over, don't be surprised there.
Yeah, this is going to be a toss-up. I think Minnesota, there's more pressure on them just because of their salary cap going into the next year. So I think the pressure is going to force them to turn it up a notch. And St. Louis, I think some of those guys are on the outside looking in already. They're probably looking on to what they're going to do for the offseason to bring in and change something in the group there. So I'm going to go Minnesota in 7.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to only give the edge to Minnesota because of the acquisition of the Flower. Because, you know what, man? Like, I love all the forwards on St. Louis, how they've been gelling and they've been going. Look at their fucking goaltending. To me, that is the biggest mind boggle of the season. Binnington has been absolutely abysmal. Go look at his stats. You'll see why. And Ville Husso has been arguably the best surprise of the year. So this is another weird situation where you really don't know if the starting goalie's going to fucking pull a Binnington and take him to the promised land, or pull a fucking Tristan Jarry 2-3 years ago and just flat out be a disappointment. I just think that Fleury, again, I think I saw a stat where he's been in the playoffs like 10 years in a row, some stat like that. He just brings so much pressure probably off of guys like Talbot, off of the back end, like not having to worry as much. Kaprizov, I think, is the best player in this series out of any player that's out there. And I think that's a big fucking deal there. So I got Minnesota in 7. And again, I'll ask this question for every series. Who do you think is the X factor? Because for me, it's definitely Kaprizov. I mean, we saw last year in the playoffs, he is a pretty good playoff performer, but I got to see it again. And again, he's the guy that runs the ship there. I think if he's going, Minnesota's in a pretty good spot. And for the Blues, I'm going to go with fucking Braden Shen, because this guy does not get the love that he deserves. I think, again, he had a pretty decent year this year. I think he had 60 plus. He's that grindy fucking second, third line center that to me, he's kind of like a Sean Couturier. I think he's a glue type of guy, just like Ryan O'Reilly. So as Ryan O'Reilly gets a little older and the pressure kind of eases off, Braden Shen is a couple years younger. I think he has a little bit more of a job to do here for this Blues team.
You want to start this one, buddy?
Yeah, this is a tough one. Damn, looking at St. Louis, I'm gonna go with Bushnevich because he's up there. Had a nice year, kind of like third pair. Like he's a third option there scoring because obviously looking at who's in front of him, like Tarasenko and Kyrou came out of nowhere. So I'll go with him on St. Louis. But for Minnesota, I'm gonna go a surprise. I won't say Kaprizov because I think they're gonna try and shut him down, like O'Reilly and all those guys. I'll go Marc-Andre Fleury. He's had some battles in the playoffs in the past where he gets pulled a few times. So I think this series he's gonna lock down early and get a couple shutouts.
For the Wild over there, I feel like any of the centers, just because when I look up the middle, I feel like the Blues haven't matched all four lines. So I could go Ryan Hartman. He's had a crazy year. But yeah, I think he could be the biggest X factor. But for the Blues, I'll fucking go Brandon Saad. It could go Binnington off everything that you just said. Goaltending could be a big issue, but how many times has Brandon Saad got deep in the playoffs, right? And now he's on the Blues and he's having another 20-goal year. And, you know, they're very deep with their forwards, but I feel like he could be a guy, like you said, with Tyler Toffoli. If they go deep, he could have 15 goals.
I like that one a lot. I was going to even go as far as saying a guy like fucking Justin Falk over there, fucking locking it down at a plus 43 rate. Like, holy shit. I don't know what he's eating, what kind of spinach he's eating this year, but I want some of that shit because he's fucking. I mean, I'll speak exactly, Aulino, for me and Pagniello. We do not like this guy as a fucking, like, he's like, I'm happy for him, but I never expected ever a plus 43 from Justin Falk, especially in the blue system. So to answer your question, Pagniello, they traded Pietrangelo because they believed in Justin Falk. And it looks like it's working out. But yeah, this one's definitely going to be a coin flip. I got Minnesota here. So we got the last series in the West. This, I think, could go south really quickly. You got, and this is not even no pun intended here, you got Colorado taking on Dallas. I mean, Dallas has had Colorado's number for quite some years now. They got the veteran-type presence in Jamie Benn, Joe Pavelski. Tyler Seguin, you could consider him a vet now. The only question, again, like I mentioned with Dallas, the goaltending. They don't have Goudobin going at that elite rate anymore. Bishop retired. Now the realm is on Jake Ottinger. So, I mean, as good as the story is with Dallas, I just think this Colorado team, hopefully, guys, knock on wood, that Kadri does not get suspended. I think the Colorado Avalanche win this one in 5. I just think this is the year where the role players have finally kind of kicked it up a notch. So, with that being said, who do you guys have winning this one? How many games? And who are your X factors?
I'll take Colorado in 6, surprisingly. Yeah, good for Dallas, though. I didn't think they'd make the playoffs, honestly. I've always liked Rupin. He's taken over as the number 1 center. I didn't think Jason Robertson was this fucking good. Chris, you've been telling me for a while. I think he's close to 80 points. I don't know what the hell Pavelski's been doing the last little while, but he could be having a career year or close to it. Stars are a good young team. They're on the rise, but I think similar to what we said about Edmonton, LA, like it's their series to lose. If Colorado, if they lose by any chance, big fucking disappointment. So, yeah. But for the X factor, I'll go with Jake Ottinger. Similar to what I said about Saros, like solid year, but like just way too young. Hasn't had that experience yet. And for the Avalanche, let me go to their team here real quick because there could be a lot of guys. I feel like, you know what? It could be Nazem Kadri just based off the fact that he hasn't fucking played in the playoffs.
Damn it.
Yeah, right? I don't know. Is there anyone else here who could be an X factor? Maybe their goaltending? Because Kemper hasn't really had that spot either, right?
I was waiting on Aulino to say Kemper.
Take it,
Oh,
buddy.
yeah. Darcy Kemper's going to save the day. I think Colorado's sweeping them.
Woo!
Jamie Benn and Pavelski will have some nice games. I think the closest game they'll have is an OT loss. So I'm going Colorado. Darcy Kemper shutting the door.
I love it. For me, you're gonna laugh. He's a former Dallas Star. The Shushkin's the X factor. The guy's got 20 goals. Keep it rolling, buddy. You're on the top line. You took Landeskog's spot because he's injured, and he's just been rolling. And another guy too that has actually surprised the shit out of me has been Burakovsky this year. He's kicked it up a notch too. So I mean, like I mentioned, those role players when they're on another gear and another level, it just makes things so much easier for guys like Kadri, Rantanen, and McKinnon. So, and even another guy too that I think is a big X factor is Devin Taves. The year that he's had is just never thought I would see that from him. So, I mean, it's funny. We all have Colorado. I have him in 5. Aulino has the sweep, and you have him in 6. So, sorry, Dallas, but I think Colorado, man, this is a really good team. And we got to move on to the Eastern Conference. I'm going to kick it off with the Florida Panthers. Sergei Bobrovsky, fucking legend, leads the league in wins, taking on Ovechkin and the Washington Capitals. This is another interesting one in.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that's a great time.
Really? This is a situation where I don't really know what to expect. I know Florida's they've averaged like 4.5 goals a game. You look at the goaltending in Washington with Vanacek and Samsonov. What do you expect in this series?
Oh, this is all you. You're starting this one.
Yeah, both goalies' tandems are a little shaky. Bobrovsky, I think, is going to get pulled one game. Whoever starts for Washington is going to get pulled in another game. And I think this is going to be one of the most offensive series just based on how many goals are scored and like just the overall presence of these forwards. Like Ovi's going to get his goals, I think. And you look at Florida, Barkov's and like Huberdeau, they've been killing it. Duclair's having a really good year. So I think there's going to be a lot of goals in this, a lot of goalie pulls. Backups are going to start one game. And I think at the end of the day, this is going 6, but I think Florida finally gets over that hump after like 20 years or more, and they get past the first round.
Yo, Pagniello, hold that thought. How high scoring are we talking here, Aulino? Are we talking 2011 Pittsburgh, Philly?
Yeah.
Is it gonna be like a 10-6, 8-5? Because I'm down for that. That would be fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I think that'd be the average. 8-5, 7-4. I think that'd be a good estimate right there.
Yo, this is going 7. Is it just me or like I don't trust Bobrovsky at all? That just me?
That's Aulino's boy.
Oh, he's done it in the past. Playoff Bobrovsky is another animal.
I'll just say it now. That's clearly my fucking X factor because like everyone on Florida is just amazing, which I don't know if I'll ever say that again. But I don't know. I look at the Caps. They've had the same team since we were fucking born. So is there any way that any of their experienced guys can pull them through against the young Florida team?
Well, that's a good question. I'm gonna go out of a limb here and say Tom fucking Wilson. Because the year that he's had, I think is he at 30 goals? Like I'm pretty sure he's close to 30 goals.
Well, I hope not.
And just the edge that he brings is just on a different level. I know that they're very skilled, Florida, but guys like Verhaeghe, Reinhart, Duclair, they're not that physical. So if Wilson can, at the same time, like if he could do what I hate to say this, if he could do what Josh Anderson did last year to the Leafs, then it's definitely a series there. But I just think the firepower in Florida is just way too high this year, and they're gonna stay hot in Florida. The fucking weather there, fucking 40 degrees, and the hockey team has basically caught fire all year. So I got Florida in 7 as well, though. I think Ovi's gonna steal. I think he's gonna get 2 OT winners against Bobo over there.
Yeah, I'll go. I'll go Florida in 7 too. I'm reluctant to do it just because of their goaltending, but it's hard to go against them with the year they've had. So, and you know what? I'm excited to see Sam Bennett in the playoffs with the Panthers. That's going to be a new look as well. That should be something else.
Aulino, who's your X factor on Washington?
Oh man, probably.
Is it
I don't want to say the goalies just because like Samsonov had some good parts of the year, Vanacek had some good parts of the year, but they've been way too shaky for me. I think they're going to be the ones that let them down, unfortunately. I think their players are going to be doing well, all their forwards. I think it's going to come down to goaltending, and I'm not going to go against Bobrovsky.
Love it. We're going to move on to the next series. I'm going to save the Leaf one for last. We're going to go with Carolina, Boston here. Same question. I'll start with you, Aulino. Who you got winning and who's the X factor? Because the season matchup definitely did not favor Boston. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Carolina in 5, and Frederik Andersen is going to be your MVP of that series.
Oh, yeah. Fucking love it.
Yo, what he said, but in 7.
I honestly think Boston's going to make it a series. I want to say 7-2 just because Boston is that playoff team that you never want to face. And I think my X factor for both teams, I hate saying this, but I think it has to be Charlie McAvoy for Boston. I think he's got to take that step in the playoffs. We know how important and how great he is, but if he wants to be compared to the likes of the greats in the game, I think he has to elevate his game to that next level, and maybe he can. People could, because I hear people call him the Drew Doughty of Boston. So I don't know if that's accurate or not. I don't really haven't seen a lot of McAvoy, but he's an X factor, and definitely for Carolina, I'm gonna go with probably Trocheck, because if that guy's going, then again, like Aho and Svech, it takes a lot of pressure off of him. And Trocheck is that sneaky offensive player that no one really talks about. So I'll go with Trocheck, and I'll go with Charlie McAvoy over there.
I'm just going to jump in right away and say Taylor Hall is very easily my X factor for the Boston Bruins. Very easily. I never know what to expect with him. He seemed to be healthy all year, and he's not having a crazy Taylor Hall-like year, but he's producing, and I'm excited to see what he can do in the playoffs because he never seems to fucking be there. And now that he's finally there with a very good team in Boston, I'm excited. We'll see. It's against Carolina, who's been consistent for a while now, but yeah, I really want to see what Taylor Hall can do in this series.
I'm gonna go with Carolina 7, man. This is tight. But moving on to the next matchup, the second last one. Oh man, this is a good one. Pittsburgh and New York. Oh my God. Flip a coin here. I mean, to me, it's a lot closer than people give credit for. Like again, like you mentioned, Aulino, not a lot of people have been mentioning Pittsburgh over the years. So to me, they're actually, believe it or not, a huge underdog to maybe even come out of the East. Because again, you have Crosby, Malkin, Gensel, even Jeff Carter. They still have Brian Rust. This is a pretty underrated a pretty underrated offensive group. I think they still have Jason Zucker too. So I don't know, man. Letang's had a big year too. Tristan Jarry just has to hold the fort down. I'll start with you though, Pagniello. Who do you got winning this series? This is a tight one.
I feel like it could be another coin flip like the Wild and Blues one. I think for Pittsburgh though, like everyone's got to be healthy. Like you got to get Malkin there. Letang's got to be going because Letang is also very unpredictable in terms of injuries, but he has played the whole year and he's been amazing. And Sid's been that guy too. I don't think no one's really talked about Jake Gensel. Just there's so many guys that are having amazing seasons that are flying under the radar, but I want to give it to the Rangers. It's kind of hard to go against them. I think it's so much closer than people think. Like you said, if you have Sid and you have Gino and you have their core and they're rolling, they have a chance. So we've seen in the past, though, Pittsburgh healthy, and they've been smacked in the first round before. So we'll see. But, like, for the Rangers, like, is there a chance Shesterkin chokes in the first round? Am I the only one that's fucking crazy there?
Oh, man. I believe it will be. I think Pittsburgh goes on. I think the veterans are going to show up, and this is a big one for Jari because every year, like Matt Murray took the net from Fleury that year. They won the back-to-back cups, but like every year there's always like a comparison. Like, is the goalie good enough? Like, will they have that same type of impact that Fleury did? So there's a lot of pressure there on Jari to live up to expectations. I think he's going to do it and be the X factor here, and Pittsburgh moves on in 6.
Oh man, I'm going 7 games 100%. I think this is going to be a barn. Like again, I'm not going to say it's going to be a 2011 Pens and Flyers, but if Shesterkin were to maybe, let's say, choke and pull a Bobrovsky or one of those goalies in the past, like, yeah, the defense is just so young and raw with the Rangers. I know they've been putting it on recently, but Adam Fox, I think this is only like his second playoff series in his career. Even like Keandre Miller is another guy that's become a full-time NHLer, and he's still a guy that really doesn't have the experience. A lot of guys, believe it or not, on this team, other than like Panarin, Ryan Strome, like they don't have that much playoff experience. If anything, the guy that has the most is Kreider, I think. So for me, I think Kreider's the X factor. Here's the guy that steers the ship. 52 goals, and he's got to let it fly if the Rangers really want a chance to win here. But I really do like your prediction, Aulino. I do have the Pens winning this one. I think Jari, he's hit his stride as a starting goalie. Gensel, oh my God, he's a playoff beast. And Sid the Kid, I can never really go against him until I actually see a decline in him, because didn't see it this year. So I'm going to go Pens in 7.
Boom. Sweep.
Now we got the last series to talk about. The one that we kind of don't want to talk about, but we got to talk about. The Leafs, the 2nd seed, the fucking back-to-back Stanley Cup champions, the Tampa Bay Lightning, the 3rd seed. I'll kick it to you, Aulino, to start. How many games? Who's the X factor? What's the main narrative here?
Oh, it's got to be that the Leafs finally make it past the first round since the Sundin era. No fucking around here. 5 games and take those fucking guys, let them go to the beach in Tampa and get sunburns and go on to the next round. So I think Toronto's going to win this. Matthews is going to show up. Tavares is going to be the leader, and it's about time. They got to go to the next round, or else like people are going to be like, what's going on here? So there you have a lot of pressure. Now it's time to pick it up and go to the next round of the playoffs.
Aulino with the statement.
Yo, it's probably the fucking this is the series to watch. This one could be like 6-5 bangers every night. You know what? A lot of people will say coin flip, but just being a negative Leafs fan, I just don't see it happening. Sorry. Even though they've like everything goes against Tampa, like it's 2 cups, and everyone out there will be like, oh well, it's shit. They're not going to win forever. They're going up against a strong Toronto team. They could lose in the first round. I can't fucking see it. I don't know. We're gonna dabble with this series, I guess. What do you got, Chris?
Man, I got 7 games. Flip a coin. I think at the end of the day, it comes down to the experience, and Tampa Bay has it. And I think Tampa's going to win in Toronto in 7 games. I don't see the Leafs. Like, okay, let's talk about it quickly. Campbell and Mrazek as your goalies is taking on Vasilevsky, a guy that's won a Conn Smythe. So right there, to me, is where the scale tips in favor of Tampa Bay. Steven Stamkos and Braden Point are one of the better playoff performers. And of course, I'm even forgetting Kucherov. So if Marner, the biggest question for me is if Marner can play at the level of Kucherov in the playoffs of the last couple of years, then yeah, maybe I can see the Leafs winning this series. But like Marner cannot be the same player he's been the last couple of years in the playoffs. Matthews won the Rocket Richard last year. It was a similar narrative, and we couldn't even get past the Habs. Aulino, I love how you think it's 5 games for the Leafs. I don't know, man. Like Tampa Bay, this is the team to beat. Like I feel like they purposely didn't even want to. I don't think they didn't even want to finish first, because teams are just out. Like they're under fucking valuing them 100%. I saw a couple podcasts. Like I was listening to podcasts, They had them as the 4th best team in the East this year. And this is not even on standing. This is just on prediction. So, if analysts are so fucking judgmental and saying that Tampa doesn't have it anymore, I think they're delusional. This team is arguably still the team to beat in the East. Man, I got Tampa Bay in 7. Like, this is the one matchup I didn't want the Leafs to have, and it's unfortunately happening because fucking Boston couldn't win a game the last 2 weeks. Those fucking assholes.
But this one is the Leafs. Like every game's a home game. Like we gotta also realize this: nobody's fucking dishing out money to go to a game in Toronto. They're just gonna go to Florida like they usually do and campaign Central there for Leaf fans. I think Tampa Bay players are in for a rude awakening come playoff time, buddy.
That is a good point.
Do you believe that Marner can elevate his game to Kucherov level, Chris?
Oh, I mean, I want to believe so, just based off of the stretch he's had it since January. I mean, he's looking like a different type of beast now. He just, like you said, numerous pods, Pagniello, it's a mental block. When they go to the playoffs, they have to really just pretend like it's any other game. I know the pressure gets to a lot of players. I don't think it's gotten to anyone more than Marner over the years. And that's not even a knack on him for his mental toughness. It's just, we fucking see it. He hasn't had a goal in like 12 playoff games in a row. He has to elevate his game. It has to be now. I think, honestly, like as great as Matthews has been, when it comes to playoff time, I think Marner might be our most important player. So if the Leafs want to win, yeah, Marner has to at least be at that level, and I think he can, just based off the stretch he's had. What do you think?
Yeah, I like that. Indicators are that he is going to perform in the playoffs, but like you just look at the matchups he's got to go up against: Kucherov and Palat and Stammer and Cirelli, and those guys are fucking headaches. So his stats could be there, but the impact might be another story. So I think he's got it in him, though, for sure. Like, Mitch is a fucking beauty. He's 3 points from 100. He's having that year with Matthews. But I guess he would be – is he your X factor, with that being said?
Yeah, I think Marner's the X factor. I can't really go with Campbell because I just don't see – I don't see him, like stealing the series. I just think that Vasilevsky's the way better tendy, and you can't really – like, if let's say he were to get, like, let's say we win the series in 7 and 2 of the 4 wins, he gets a shutout. Like then we're fucked because we can't afford him. So like we're in like a tough situation either way, but I got to go with Marner, man. Cause like the last 2 playoff series couldn't have gone any worse. And like, just think about it for a second. I'll even pass this to Aulino. If Marner played a little bit better the last 2 years, we wouldn't be talking about first round exits. So if Marner could even elevate his game, I want to say to the slightest, and again, we didn't even have Tavares last year, maybe I do like our chances, but again, you're going up against the fucking back-to-back champs. Fuck.
Yeah, also during the year, that whole crowd there that wanted Marner traded got a little quiet as the year was going on. Mitchie was putting up assists. He was setting up his teammates. If they traded him for, let's say, 2 $5 million plug defensemen to be defensive shutdown guys, they wouldn't get the service like Matthews getting 60 goals this year. So everyone got awfully silent there. It's good to see Mitchie prove those people wrong, and he's going to do the same in the playoffs. I think he's going to elevate it. This is going to be his year, and I think he's going to be more than the X factor. I think he's going to be the reason why they advance to the next round.
Who's going to go after Corey Perry this year?
Oh, the referee.
That piece of shit. Bunting's my X factor. Let's go.
Oh my. You know who's gonna go after Corey Perry? Fucking Spezza. Let's fucking go. That guy's all heart.
Oh, the redemption from 2007.
There you go.
Oh yeah, fuck.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised because like Wayne Simmons is at that point where is he going to be in the lineup every night? Like, I really don't know. Like Engvall has been absolutely incredible. I don't know if they want to go with Abruzzese or Robertson in the postseason. And again, like we just got a guy like Kyle Clifford back in the lineup. I think I'm going with Clifford over Simmons. That's just me personally. But yeah, I think Spezza, man. I think he's got a lot more pressure to be a gritty grinder in this series. I can't wait to see it. It's going to be fun, though.
So you got what was it again? You got Tampa and what?
I got Tampa in 7, man.
I got Tampa. Take it, buddy.
Nah, Chris, you got him in 7. Oh, man. Oh, that's going to piss a lot of people off if that happens.
It's the fucking nightmares, man. Every time we go to 7, we can't get it done.
Oh, man.
All I'm going to say, Aulino, is prove me wrong, please.
Damn.
But we're going to move on to something that's a little bit more fun. It's negative, but it's fun. Because I want to go to the court. I want to go to the association. I want to go to the NBA. I want to talk about a team that has been fucking highly touted all year, and the fucking analysts shoving this team down our throats every fucking week. The Brooklyn Nets. Pagniello. What the fuck happened? Your team. 4-0 sweep. Never happened in KD's career. Please explain the fucking series, because I am fucking in a loss of words.
I didn't know where you were going for the longest time until you said Brooklyn. Okay, so basically you have Kevin Durant and you have Kyrie Irving, and that's all you had to fucking rely on, because Seth Curry didn't show up and no one else showed up.
Come on, man.
I really wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt just because it's playoff time and you have KD and Kyrie, so you're like, okay, it's next level. You're going to turn it up a bit. If everyone else just plays their job coming off the bench, you should be all right. But I'm fucking stupid, and I didn't realize that the Boston Celtics, probably the best team in the league since the All-Star break. Yeah, and, you got Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart and Williams, and the way they all played defensively and together. And you saw Kyrie with the ball sometimes, and he was getting doubled, and he just looked like he was in a fucking panic all the time. And they just swarmed them like bees every game. Their best chance was in game 1. And then after that, as the games went on, it looked worse and worse for Brooklyn and so much better for Boston. And the better team won, and it wasn't even fucking close.
Oh, man. It was sad to see if you're a Brooklyn fan. Not for us, because I can care fucking less, but yeah. KD, Kyrie, remember all the talk of like, oh, they're the most skilled duo of all time. They're going to go in together. They're going to just sweep everyone. They're going to go through them. Seth Curry carried the load there, it looked like. And Ben Simmons has a lot of answering to do for his teammates. Good luck with that.
Get me started on that.
Yeah, but they traded James Harden, so you would think that they get something equal in return, and they didn't. So that trade was basically a waste right now, and that looks bad on management more than Steve Nash as a coach.
Now, I mean, you guys both had Brooklyn winning. I had Boston in 6. I just think that the Celtics are just set up for success. You go in the draft and you draft accordingly. You get Brown, you get Tatum, you get Marcus Smart in the 14 draft, which is looking like a fucking like the heist of the fucking decade, getting a guy like that late. And Al Horford, like you guys mentioned, like what the fuck happened with him? He looks like a different player now. Robert Williams is a problem. I think the Celtics could beat the Bucks, no doubt about it. It's sad to see that it's not even a conference final matchup. You have to see it in the second round, but like Ime Udoka is easily the coach of the year in my mind. Like everything that he's done, you look at the crossovers, the pick and pop, the double team sequences, like he was executing that to perfection. And I'm not going to lie, like he made Steve Nash look like a freaking intermediate high school coach. Oof. Steve Nash didn't change up the game plan at all. It looked like Kevin Durant and Kyrie were just running their own plays. And I want to ask this question to both of you. What was with Kevin Durant shooting only 11 times in game 3?
Yo, I don't know. And I think every analyst has the same answer, because when they were breaking down the games, every single one was like, we have never seen this from Kevin Durant in all of our years. And as the games went on, you assume like they're gonna pick it up. Something's got to give. It's KD. There's no way, and it just didn't happen. I just think this is one of the rare times where KD didn't have an answer. I think Boston genuinely locked him the fuck up and couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah, this is maybe he was trying to get Kyrie going like he did in game 1, and obviously it didn't work, but like that's a conversation they have to have because Kevin Durant is like he pretty much sacrificed his legacy as a leader to team up with Kyrie in Brooklyn, and now it's not looking good right now. So he has all these people talking about him and his accomplishments as a player. So that's a conversation he and Kyrie have to have. If he feels that he's not going to do anything to change it, maybe he has to look elsewhere and go to management and say pick one, because that's happened in the past with other teams that we've seen. So Brooklyn has an interesting offseason to go forward.
Yeah, another thing too, like the thing that surprised me with the sweep was his legacy was basically on the line here. We know how good Kevin Durant is, but now you're looking back at the Warriors title runs and he won the MVP. But then like you come here to Brooklyn and it's like, all right, like they're still the favorites. They have Kyrie Irving. They had Harden going into the year. And like they're the only team in the postseason to get swept. That's absurd. That cannot happen. And Kevin Durant now, I'm not saying he's not a top 10 player of all time. I'm not jumping to conclusions like that, but damn, man, like this was a series that he just fell flat. Like he shot 4 of 17 in game 2. He had more turnovers than points in a half. Like it's just these are stats that I never thought I would see from Kevin Durant. And I love the comments where they're saying, "Don't ever say KD is better than LeBron." It's just I love social media when they get into that frenzy. But I want to move on to quickly a couple other series before we go off. I want to talk about Miami eliminating the Hawks again. Fuck, I thought it would be a better series. Trae Young, man, ice cold. That guy did not really do anything in the series. This shows how good defensively Miami is. And they had the fucking nerve in game 5 to rest Butler. And I mean, Lowry's hurt, but they rested Jimmy Butler in a playoff game. What the fuck is the NBA doing here, boys?
Oh, I think he was injured. I think he was injured.
You guys are funny.
Oh, fuck. I didn't know that. What the fuck did he get injured from?
We may have to look into this one. But either way, I don't know about you guys, but Jimmy Butler to me has been like arguably the best player in these playoffs. What do you think about that, Chris?
I'll say Tatum.
Oh,
but yeah. But yeah, like Jimmy's top 5 for sure. Yeah, he is. He had that 41-point game in game 2.
There it is. I don't know, boys. Just what did you guys say? Atlanta 7 or Miami 7?
Yeah, I said 7 for Miami.
Like, this team's built for the future. Hawks fans are probably losing their mind because they think fucking Trae Young is Allen Iverson and he's going to drag them all the way. But I wouldn't be too mad. Miami won the whole fucking conference. Like, they're a great team. They're here for now. Atlanta's coming down the line. So for me, this is what was supposed to happen.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with just them getting eliminated. They were a play-in team. Like, they got in beating Cleveland. So, like, you can't get too mad about that if you're an Atlanta Hawks fan. So it's more like they had a bad year, but at least they have the resources where next year they can come back stronger. And now at least they know what they have in their team, what position they need help at. So if anything, this is probably the best thing for them going forward.
Now, I know we're going to go well over an hour, but like I want to talk especially with you, Aulino. The Utah Jazz. What the fuck does this team got to do to be successful in the post? Is this where we scrap the fucking plays and you just rebuild at this point because they haven't effectively fucking inserted Gobert in this series? Fucking Mitchell now is hurt. They're down 3-2. Jalen Brunson, holy shit, I've never seen this type of elevation from a player in the playoffs, averaging 26 points per game in the series. What the fuck is it, Aulino?
Oh man, this is false advertising from NBA on TNT. They were talking about Utah during the entire game I saw before about them being this offensive juggernaut, one of the best 3-point scoring teams in the league. I turned it on and I was disgusted. Like, what the fuck? Like, this was bad. Like, you had Bogdanovich with 1 point. And like, I was looking at the stats, like, he's their main 3-point shooter with Donovan Mitchell. Mitchell gets injured. Gobert's getting just destroyed in the paint by Doncic. And, yeah, Doncic was just tearing their competitive spirit quarter by quarter. And now I just think they threw in the towel and they're like, you know what? Let's go in the off season, and one of them has to go. I think Gobert or Mitchell, they can have their pick. It's not working. They got to move on.
Well, if they move one, they got to move both. To me, there's no fucking point.
Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Let's go. It's your team now.
Oh, man. Is Mitchell, like, confirmed out now?
Oh, yeah, I think so. I think he had a similar injury to Booker and Jimmy Butler.
I don't know if I've ever watched a Jazz game without Donovan Mitchell. I have no idea how that's going to look. They got to stay in it. Jordan Clarkson's got to, I guess him and Conley are going to run the point there, but holy fuck. I know Utah, like, they're a great team and they move it really well, but Mitchell's the guy, like, he takes around 30 shots every game regardless. So, like, it's going to look completely different. I'm very disappointed.
Same script, same result. Fucking Utah. Good God. They always find a way to disappoint. And yeah, man, I think Mitchell's gone. If I had to, like, I do agree, though. I think both of them are definitely on the way out if they lose in 6. I just think, like you said, the competitive spirit is probably gone now. And Quinn Snyder is even rumored to go to the Lakers. So I feel like it's going to be a reset with Utah. And I don't even know if that can really benefit them just based on even the situation they're in. They're not going to have a high draft pick. I mean, unless they trade Mitchell and Gobert, and then maybe the assets will come. But it's not looking good in Utah. So I just got to move on quick to now the fucking Pelicans and even the Timberwolves series. Very, very close. It's both 3-2. I'll start with you, Pagniello. Timberwolves, you called it. They're fucking giving Memphis a problem. Last night, they barely won again. Anthony Edwards looks like fucking Embiid, but John Morant comes down and gets a layup to get the win. Do you think this one goes 7, or you think the Grizzlies take this one?
It's going 7. I'm going Memphis in 7 like I originally predicted. Yeah, I missed all of last game, but I caught the other ones. It's been really fucking back and forth. I love the way these teams match up against each other. Watching Ja in these fucking playoffs, holy shit. The young superstar in the league. This is crazy, man. Like, good for the Timberwolves too, because the narrative going into these playoffs was just kind of pissed me off. No one really gave him a chance. And I know I have the Grizzlies winning, but there's a lot of star power on this team. And watching the fucking Ant-Man go off over there in his first playoffs is something special. So I'll stick with Memphis in 7. But yeah, this is a dope one.
Yeah, I think this one's over in 6. I got Memphis winning. Bane has been a nice surprise for me. He's really turned it on in this postseason, and the good Canadian kid, Dylan Brooks. It's his time to shine too. So him, John, Bane, Adams, whenever he plays his limited minutes, he's not going to play at 35 minutes like the other guys, but he's effective for over 20 when they use him, get rebounds. So I think Memphis should be able to get it done.
Yeah, Desmond Bane is my most improved player of the year. And good on John Morant giving it to him, because John Morant is not in that stratosphere of ever being a most improved anything, because the expectations are he's a superstar already, and he is. But I got to give credit to fucking Edwards. He's been fucking carrying Minnesota, because the first 2 games, Cat was a non-factor. He had foul trouble. And Edwards is like, yeah, hold my beer. Don't worry. I got you. First ever series, and he's averaging 28 points per game. I'm not going to say he's going to be LeBron, but there's times when I see Edwards and it's like, fuck, what can you do wrong? There's not a lot of mistakes he makes. He's only 20, 21 years old. Like, this guy's going to be a fucking problem in this league. I expect the Edwards, Ja Morant feud to be kind of like what we've seen in the past with like the like the D Wade versus LeBron back in the day, like those type of feuds, like KD versus LeBron. Like I feel like that's what it's going to be in the future with Morant versus Edwards, especially in the West. But I got the Grizzlies in 6. I just think I love how Townsend has put it on the last couple games, but I think the Grizz are too good. And then we got the Pelicans and the Suns. Damn it, the Pelicans losing a big game 5 without Devin Booker. I fucking knew it. Michael Bridges, 31 points. He goes off here. Jay Crowder really hasn't been that much of a factor. I'll start with you, Pagniello. Do the Suns hold off in New Orleans, or is this one going to go to 7? And here's another one. Does Aulino's boy, Zion, make his season debut?
Fucking no. Boom. But you know what? They forced 7. I'm not surprised that they won the game. I'm surprised that they smacked them. Not going to lie. But yeah, Bridges has been that guy all year. You saw it with Devin Booker out. They're still a great team. They had 60-plus wins. They got Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton and Jay Crowder and all those guys. But I'm more proud of the Pelicans. Like, BI's been going off most games. JV's got to play the full game. He's a fucking baller. Aulino can fucking carry it away with that one. Getting CJ McCollum, like, they're turning this into a series. I could see them going back to New Orleans and taking it, and then going to a game 7, and then I'll assume Phoenix closes it out. But as for game 6, I'll say the Pelicans get it.
Yeah, I got the Pelicans winning game 6. I like how the Alvarados come in, all like undersized, 6 feet of them, just running around, making life hell, going around 3 players, and he's really taking it to Chris Paul. Like, you can see him, he's frustrated, he gets tired. I've never seen Chris Paul, like, more than twice. You see him getting 8-second violations because he can't get the ball up half court because he got this little menace running after him. So I love the way they're playing him. I think on the Phoenix Suns, Bridges finally stepped up. Like, I think if there's a player when Booker's out, like, if he's not stepping up, I don't know what's going to happen there. So he finally did his job there and stepped up and carried the offensive load to match his defense intensity. So that was a good sign. It's just the Pelicans, even though they were losing by a lot, they were still in the game, and they made it close at the end there, losing by 8, then brought it down to 6. Then it went back to 11, and then they were still draining threes. Ingram was still getting to the paint, getting free throws. JV, I don't know what the fuck the coach was thinking, taking him out there when he was just starting to get hot, but you see in game 4 when he got hot what happened. So I think JV needs to play a lot more, kind of like what McCollum and Ingram are playing. And if it goes to game 7, boys, they got to do something special, release Zion, and then it's game over. So I'm going to go Pelicans in 7.
This fucking podcast is sponsored by KFC. I'm just kidding. Yeah, Zion has to play. If it goes 7 games, you have to put him in. I mean, like, what the fuck is stopping this guy from playing? And he was dunking 2 weeks ago. Like, what is stopping this guy from playing, honestly? Is it what?
It's the coach.
I wanna see Zion and Simmons team up in New York.
Oh.
Don't get me fucking started on that. You know what? Simmons is fucking lucky that we went through all the NHL matchups, or I'd fucking be going off on him. Fucking heist of the century. Are you fucking kidding me? Jesus. I'm going to get all
master finesser.
$30 million.
Mental illness. What the fuck you going through?
Well, James.
Yeah, I got Pels in 7. I don't see the Suns winning this without Devin Booker, honestly. And I love Bridges. I don't see him dropping 30 again either. So the fucking Suns are against the ropes, even though they're up 3-2. Like we've mentioned in the past with teams that barely make the playoffs, there's not a lot of expectation and not a lot of pressure on them. So if in this case the Suns have everything to lose, they went to the fucking finals last year, came up short. I think the Pelicans can do it. Jose fucking Alvarado, the fucking menace there. And now you got to end it with the fucking choke artist. I mean, I'm going to knock on wood here, but fucking Philly going back home in game 5, and they fucking looked awful. They did not look good at all. Doc Rivers, I don't know what kind of game plan he had, but it wasn't working out, and he didn't really change it. They took Danny Green 2 minutes into the fucking first quarter. This guy goes back on, proves everybody why he's still in the NBA. He had 9 points in a matter of a minute. And like Tyrese Maxey did not look good at all. James Harden, forget about him. He's not even a fucking factor anymore. And then Joel Embiid has a fucking torn ligament in his thumb. So there's a lot. Again, the Raps really have nothing to lose. They're young. This is a team that's up and coming. I'm going to start with you, Pagniello. If Philly if they have a shot in losing this series, what the fuck is the narrative in the offseason?
Oh, they already lost this fucking series, even if they win Game 6.
I love it.
They fucking lost already. The narrative, oh my God, it's probably going to be centered around James Harden. Honestly, I don't think Embiid can do any more. Like, he goes to the line every other possession. He gets triple teamed sometimes. Nothing is that guy's fault. He is fucking sensational. It's about what you surround around him, Embiid. And James, like you said it before, he's a non-factor. I don't know. When I watch him out there, like, his handles are still nice. He gets guys to bite all the time. He just doesn't have the fucking energy to blow by them. I don't know if anyone else is seeing that, but yeah. What do you guys think about this? It's a wild fucking series.
Yeah, like what you mentioned there, that they already lost the series. Like, no matter what happens in this game, with Philly and Toronto, Game 6, Philly up 3-0, had everything going for them, the momentum. They couldn't even close it out. And Danny Green, if he doesn't come in the game and start draining threes and saving Harden's ass, this looks really bad. So they're lucky to have Danny Green, where it looked like they were writing him off before the season. And yeah, Toronto's in their head. And it's interesting to see that Philly can't get over this hurdle after Game 3, what happened. And Embiid, if he has to go back to Toronto and have a game like he had last game, they're going to let him hear about it, and the PTSD is going to start kicking in, and it might be in his head for Game 7. So they got to close this one out if they want to have any sanity going forward.
Yeah, I mean, like, another thing too that has really baffled me is they, even in Game 5 when they're in Philly, they didn't even include Thibault in the game, man. This guy was starting all year, and I think he played 12 minutes. So, like, when guys like Maxey offensively, the first 3 games, I think he was averaging 24. And like, when he goes cold like that, and you see the way that Harden's been playing, averaging about 36% from the field, like, I feel bad for Embiid, low key. Like, he's doing everything he can, and the media is still finding ways to fucking give this guy flack. Like, he's doing so much, averaging like 30 with a fucking torn ligament in his thumb. I fucking knew as soon as Scotty Barnes came back that this series would kind of flip. And Gary Trent Jr., holy shit, man. The guy's a fucking baller. And the scariest part, guys, of last game, we shot 23% from 3 and we still won the game. Like, that to me is concerning if you're a Philly fan. If they can't even beat us and we shoot 23% from 3, that's a fucking problem. They got to change their fucking game plan. I don't know what they're going to do with the length that we have in the athleticism. But what do you guys have? Do you have Philly closing it, or do you see history in the making happening?
I'll stick with my original prediction and say Raps in 7, even though it's unlikely, but we've made it this far, so fuck it, might as well. Raps in 7, boys.
Yeah, Raptors in 7.
It's a sweep. Raps in 7. James Harden, man. If they fucking lose, the guy's gonna go to the gulag. He's gonna be fucking gone from the NBA. People are gonna fucking sign petitions to get this guy out of the league. It's gonna be brutal, man. I don't know. I mean, I still can't believe the fucking dip that Harden's took. It's baffling, man. He's so bad. Like, I'm not gonna say he's like not an NBA player, but to go from averaging 36 to this, like, I don't really know what the fuck to believe anymore.
He'll go to Golden State on a mid-level.
He'll come off the bench.
2-3 years ago. But that's fucking it for this week. We talked about the NHL matchups in the playoffs. Talked about a little bit of a recap in the NBA playoffs. And let's see if the fucking Raptors can be the first team in history to come back from 3-0. This is In the Zone, episode 175. Signing out, boys.